I was recently at a sustainability conference and there was a speaker there who was talking about our historic gardens, and topiary features quite a lot in those gardens, whether it's knot gardens or pieces of topiary like the taxus behind me. And the question really was about how sustainable are these gardens. Now, we know that they take a lot of labour to cut, but he felt, and he introduced this concept which I thought was really cool, the fact that our plants in these gardens are basically on life support machines, because without us they wouldn't look like they look. Now, you might argue that they would never look like that without human intervention. Gardens of those periods were public displays of wealth, and they were created by the gentry, kings and queens, to make beautiful spaces that were controlled, and it was all about a display of wealth and money and, most importantly, power. But now society has changed, but associations like the National Trust and English Heritage are not quite keeping up with the changes. So they are paid, I suppose, and sponsored to preserve nature and to preserve those historic places. But the question is, can we afford to do that as we move into the future when box and things are dying out? Do we need to replace those with something different? And then how true is that to its historic roots? Now, most historic gardens like that, if the king or queen changed their mind, they would rip them out like that and put something new in. And the new fashion might be the English landscape, etc. So it's kind of part of history in itself that it has to change and evolve. And that is part of what those gardens were. So preserving them in time is arguably not what they were about. My concern is that if we remove those box plants, etc., and we reintroduce new, more sustainable planting, then in 100 years of time, all of those gardens are going to look exactly the same. And will the planting that we put in them today be able to survive the next 100 years? Pretty big questions. Will the sustainable element give a reason for the changes to be made in those kind of gardens, and how long can we preserve those historic gardens for? Those are the questions, pretty big. Pop your thoughts down below and let's have a debate.